This video is about subtracting polynomials. When I subtract a polynomial, I'm just gonna kind of adjust here. When I subtract a polynomial, what I want you to notice is that I'm asking you to distribute the minus sign and rewrite it without parentheses. I got a lot of students who really don't like it. They're like, I don't want to rewrite it. It takes too much time. But really, let's be honest, you're being lazy. So let's not be lazy and let's rewrite it because it will prevent a lot of problems. So when I have this minus sign, what I want to do is treat it like I am multiplying everything that follows it with a -1. Imagine this piece isn't there, and that's exactly what it would be, is a distributive problem. So now that it's there, when I put these together, I'm going to rewrite. The first side is not going to change. 8x squared minus 4x minus 3. But here, negative times a negative is equal to a positive 2. And that's how I like to write things. If it's a positive number, I use a plus sign. If it's a negative number, I use a minus sign. The less symbols you put between, the more likely you are to not make as many mistakes. Because when you get it too cloudy and too messy, that's when mistakes are made. Negative times a negative is a positive x squared. And finally, negative times 5 is -5. Now, I want you to imagine last names. X squared is different than X. It's like there's two names and one has, a different spelling. They're very close, but the ones with different spellings are not in the same family. So we only want to put X squared with something that's absolutely identical with it, which is another X squared. 8x squared plus 1x squared is 9x squared. When I look at the X family, I go -4, so I'm touching it, -4, and I look at the other x, plus 2. -4 plus 2 is a -2. I write it as a -2x. Again, I'm not changing any of the family names. I'm not changing any of the exponents. I'm leaving those the same. And finally, I take the ones that I like to call Prince, Madonna, Cher, people with no last names. So these are constants. They don't have last names. They don't have variables. So I have -3 minus 5. When I put that together, I get -8. I'd like to show you one more that's a little bit more difficult because, again, students see the xy and this xy and they think, oh, they're from the same family. I can put them together. But this one has a squared and this one doesn't. So they're not the same family. We also can't create a new family when we're just adding and subtracting. The only way we could create new families is when we're multiplying. So here, well, and when we're dividing. So again, I want to rewrite this problem. So I have 9xy squared. I'm not changing it. Plus 5xy. Again, not changing it. But I have a minus, a negative. That's plus 2xy. I have minus a negative here, that's positive xy squared. Now, as I look at these problems, I see the xy squared has another xy squared. So I simply, again, I group those together. I'm not changing xy squared. I'm not creating a new family. I'm just putting the two people, if it's a reunion, at the same table. 9 plus 8 gives me 17xy squared. Again, didn't change any family names. 5xy plus 2xy. 5 plus 2 is 7xy.